Spartans! What is your profession?
Yes, people, another edition of Knights of the Round Table discussions where we discuss all sports all the time. Got my guys Tooth and the Truth with me. How are we doing, people?
All good in the hood.
All good, man.
Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. And people, as you know, as usual, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Get the likes up, get the comments up, get the subscriptions up. Videos are doing well at the moment. I see you lot enjoyed the tennis debate, and we've got so much more content for you. So just make sure you keep smashing that like button. But it is, people, you know, when Tooth is on, the Nate Diaz of Dentistry, our MMA connoisseur, you know we are talking about UFC. It's the UFC 259 preview show. Main eventing, we got Jan versus Israel. We got Amanda Nunes versus Megan Anderson. And we've got Petr Jan versus Aljamain Sterling. 3 title fights, stacked cards, absolute madness. You know it's a stacked card when you got Dominic Cruz and Benavidez on an undercard. Exactly. You know the card is stacked. But we are going to start off with the main event. Champion versus champion.
Champion versus the face of the UFC.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Number one name.
Listen, what?
Yeah, shake your head. You can shake your head. I'm talking about Tooth, by the way. But go on.
I don't know about that because a certain Mr. Bones is still in the UFC, man. A certain Mr. Bones is still in the UFC. Listen, as Tooth and I said in the last one, bruv, it's the passing of the torch, but right now, know your place in it. The passing of the torch will come, but right now, know your place in it. But yeah, it is champion versus champion. Israel, the middleweight champion. Jan, the light heavyweight champion. It is for the light heavyweight championship of the world. Tooth, gonna come to you first. Israel stepped up. We did discuss it, saying if he would he not. He stepped up to light heavyweight. He's going in to face Jan. I can't say his last name, so you can say it for me. Mad fight. Just give me your thoughts on what you're expecting from this fight. I know you're not Israel's biggest fan, and Jan is your boy. Obviously, that Polish connection. But yeah, just give us a little bit of a breakdown on what you think is going to happen in this fight, bruv.
Israel's going to run for 5 rounds or win a decision. That's it. That's it, bruv. For real.
You saying no faith in your boy?
No, he's going to knock him spark out, bruv. He's going to knock him spark out. That's what my heart thinks.
Your heart is telling you that Jan is going to knock out Israel.
Bruv, do you even watch this sport, bruv? Are you on the right podcast?
You're telling me no. You're telling me your heart is telling you that Jan is gonna knock out Israel.
Bro, he is gonna knock him spark out, bro.
Carry on.
He's gonna offer Israel which way he'd like to go out, on his ass or on his face. You know what I mean? Like, which way would he like to go out? Yeah, bro, Jan's been knocking people out silly, senseless. And he's fought someone similar to Israel. Granted that Luke Rockhold is nothing as good as Israel Adesanya, all right?
Yeah, of course.
I'm trying to say they're on the same level.
Yeah.
But stylistically, Rockhold is that traditional striker, kickboxer guy. And Jan ate what he had in the first round, and then in the second round broke his fucking jaw and retired him, bro. So hopefully Israel will get the same treatment. But I understand Israel's levels above Luke Rockhold. Israel, I'm not expecting him to come out and knock Jan out. It is a possibility. Israel can knock anyone out. But of more recent fights, he's been more tentative with his approach. He's been more calculated. He's picked his opponents apart. And I hate to say it, it might offend a lot of people, but I feel like he's played it safe. You know, in the first fight with Yoel Romero, he got tagged. And after that punch was thrown, Israel was basically circling around the cage the whole fight, leg kicks, keeping Yoel at rage. Again, granted, Yoel could have done more. Against Costa, he completely dominated Costa, but it was just a case of where he's just attacking his legs, he's attacking his legs, he's attacking his legs. And then once he chopped Costa down, what was it, a head kick and a hook, some shit like that.
Yeah.
The head kick hook combination that
The head kick got him into bleeding, then he actually caught him for counter. Actually, it was a nice counter.
And Costa's not exactly the most experienced fighter on the roster. He's a young guy coming up, barely had like 15 fights. I think he had like 12 fights when he got his title.
Yeah.
Against someone like Israel, who's been a striker. He's been a kickboxer for many years. It was his career before he stepped into MMA. Difference is, Jan has plenty of experience in MMA. I think he made his debut in 2013. And this was when I was in Poland, bruv. This was when I was like my first year in Poland. I remember he made his debut and, you know, he was fighting out of Poznan, which is funny enough where I was situated at. And since then, I've been following his career, and he's had ups and downs in the game. But as of late, he's really come to his own, and he's really sort of, he's aged like fine wine. Do you know what I mean? He's now recently showing what he's really capable of, and he's taken out some top names. TJ, correct me if I'm wrong, but he took out Rockhold, he took out Reyes, he took out Jacare, I think. I think he won one and lost one against Santos, and Santos, we all know, is a veteran.
Santos was his last defeat.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, there we go.
Yeah.
There we go. He's literally fought all the top guys at light heavyweight. And he was meant to be fighting John Jones if John Jones didn't relinquish the belt and move up. I think it's just going to be one of the. I think Blachowicz is going to use the same game plan he used against Dominic Reyes and Luke Rockhold, which is just, you know, I can take these pitty-patty shots, wait for an opening, and catch him. Whether or not he could do that against a guy like Adesanya, who lives in the Matrix, and he's so hard to telegraph and very calculated with what he throws, will be difficult. But I think I'm riding with my boy on this one, man. I'm riding with Blachowicz.
No, I hear that. Truth, we know that Israel is your boy. He's taken that step up to light heavyweight. What do you make of his chances? I mean, Jan's the natural light heavyweight. As Tu said, he's got the experience at the weight class as well. Israel stepping up. How many pounds is the difference? Do you not know?
Between them right now is 30 pounds, no, 20 pounds, isn't it?
Yeah.
Israel's 185. Jan last fight, I think, was 205.
And Tooth, correct me if I'm wrong, saying that when Israel said he's stepping up, he's not going to gain any more weight. Is that true?
Well, I don't know how much weight he cuts from coming down to middleweight, which is 185, but
that's about 15 pounds. He walks around at around 200.
Yeah, so I would suspect anyone that's dropping weight, normally in the UFC, it's like guys try to cut as much weight as they can to get down to their weight class limit and then bulk up. So if I would suspect Israel's nothing more than 200 to 210 pounds.
Yeah,
the weight class is gonna be easy for him to cut. It's going to be real. I don't think he's more than 210 pounds, honestly.
No.
I don't.
He isn't. Walks around at 200.
No.
Yeah,
But
you could.
Truth.
Yeah, that's the only concern I have is that he's facing someone who is natural, you know, a natural light heavy. Unlike Tooth, I don't think Jan is going to knock out Israel. I just think Israel's too slick. I just don't think you're catching him clean, unless he's going in there with a plan to go into a war. And I don't think he's going to go in there and go into a war with Jan. he's too calculated for that, man. He knows that he's stepping up. Correct me if I'm, this is his first time fighting someone at that weight class, like at all. Like, I think even in his kickboxing days, too, if you could tell me, I don't know if he's faced anyone at that weight, even in his kickboxing days.
Yeah. I think he was light heavyweight at kickboxing, but the weight classes in kickboxing are not the same as
Okay.
a light heavyweight in boxing. Even it's not the same as a light heavy. It's not the same limit as a light heavyweight in MMA and vice versa, and even in things like kickboxing, Thai boxing, their weight classes are different. So I think he was fighting at middleweight, but at the middleweight limit for the kickboxing organizations he was fighting at. The thing is with the weight thing, I'm not really like, I don't think it will play a huge factor in it. But
I thought it would if Jan was going for takedown. I know he's got a few submission holds in his career. I think the last submission hold he had was a few fights. But he had a triangle. He had a triangle hold on. Can't remember which fight it was.
Was it Bronson? No. Bronson was Israel. Sorry, no, that's wrong.
I can't remember who it was. He had an arm triangle. But he's got a few submissions.
Yeah, Jan has won a few. Like, Jan is an all-rounder. That's the thing.
Yeah, he is. He's an all-rounder. Yeah, and I think with the weight, for me, that plays more of a thing when you think about Israel. It's not going to engage him properly. So if Jan doesn't respect him, doesn't respect what he's going to do, I think coming in for the takedowns is more than viable. I just don't think he's going to land cleanly on Israel. I just don't believe.
It's funny you say that about the takedown. Sorry to cut you off, Truth. But as the both of you all know, bro, it's near impossible to take down Israel, bro. His takedown defense is at 86%.
It's very good. But remember, this is him fighting someone who's a lot more heavier and has a little bit more experience in takedown than the people that he's fought recently. He's in all of his last few fights, they've just been stand-up fights. I don't even think anyone's attempted a proper takedown in him since. Did Whitaker attempt a takedown on him? I can't remember Whitaker even attempted a takedown on him.
No, I think it was the fat Mexican dude. Gastelum.
Yeah, Gastelum,
yeah. I think Gastelum tried to shoot for a few takedowns. I think he got him down a few times, but Israel.
But his defense was too good. So this is a different thing when he's facing someone who is actually, you would probably think Jan's walk around weight is what, about 220, 230. That's a different weight class we're talking about.
The thing is with Jan, he does have that in his toolbox, but he's not used it as of recently. Like the last few fights that I remember him, from what I remember, it's all been he's heavily relied on his stand-up skills, and if he's needed to go to his grappling, he's gone to his grappling. The last fight that comes to my mind, just off the cuff, was when he fought Jacare, and that was mainly defensive grappling because Jacare is just all jiu-jitsu. So. Again, he can use that, but I don't think he will go to it. But again, we don't know. There's so many.
You don't think so? Why is that? Because if you look at it, Israel's got the reach on him.
Reach, height, speed,
and speed on him.
Bruv, all of these things are just fucking numbers on a piece of paper, bro.
We get
that. I don't believe that.
But it means something. It means something. Israel's got the reach. He's got the speed, and obviously the kicks as well. Surely, for Jan to be effective, he has to get close to it. We've seen the way that he is. He gets close and then he goes to work. And I don't think Israel's going to allow him to get that close. So surely he has to try and take Israel down and then work from there, because we haven't seen Israel have to do anything. We haven't seen him have to fight off his back. We haven't seen what he does when he's actually down on the ground. Surely go for that first, and then if that doesn't work, then go for the power after.
I don't know. I don't think, because Jan is not one of these guys like a Curtis Blades or a Daniel Cormier or a Habib, or like, that's not his go-to. When you watch his fights, that's not what he relies on. He might mix the takedowns in with his striking, but his end game is always to finish a fight with what he has, what his strengths are, which is his striking.
Yeah.
But he can grapple, you know what I mean? He can grapple, he can submit people. I just don't think that will be his primary game plan with Israel. It might be. He might just come out there and just look. I'm bigger than you, and I can. If I get close to you, take you down. Let's see if you can get back up. But that is not his forte. That is not his bread and butter. And I think for someone to keep Israel down, you'd need to be like an elite wrestler. Someone just as good as him, but in the rest. Someone just as good as Israel's. Someone just as good as Israel when it comes to striking. That is just as good in the wrestling and grappling department. That's the only way I see Israel being held down. And I don't think Jan is known for that. In fact, he's not. He's not that guy. He's not a Daniel Cormier. He's not a Habib. He's not Curtis. That's
what I'm saying. In that case, I just don't see anything that Jan is going to do.
It's written in the stars, bruv. I'm telling you, this hype train needs to be derailed. It's written in the stars. Jan is the guy to do it. But at the same time, it could just be another name on Adesanya's like resume. You know,
of course.
It can turn out like that. But I'm not discrediting Jan at all. I think he's being overlooked. And normally in these situations, when one fight has got all the hype and all the sort of promo behind it, do you know what I mean? These Cinderella stories happen, bro. These Cinderella stories happen out of nowhere.
In this case, though, you know how calculated Israel and how calculated Dana is. I don't think Israel takes this fight unless he's supremely confident. Because I think if he was facing Dominic Reyes, bam, that's an easy fight. That's an easy fight to do. I think he takes that.
The only way he doesn't move up to light heavyweight is if Bones had the belt. If Bones kept the belt, he would have never went up. Guaranteed. He would have gone up. 100%.
He would have gone up.
If Bones had that belt, he would not gone up.
He would have gone up. He wouldn't have faced Bones straight away. Come on, this is a title fight. He wouldn't have jumped straight into a title fight. But he would have gone up. He would have got a tune-up fight at light heavy.
How are you saying that when Israel himself has said like he wasn't gonna go up? And there was two reasons. There's two reasons. The first reason was he was acting like Jones is not going to dictate his career, which is cool, fine,
just fair enough,
which is fair enough. But I look at that as hypocritical, because you started this whole John Jones beef, calling his name and chatting shit about him, but then when you have the opportunity to go up and fight him, you're talking about, oh, I'm not going to let him dictate my career, like.
Because he knows he's the GOAT, bro.
He's not ready.
He knows he's the GOAT, bro.
I'm sorry.
I got bent up like a pretzel, bro.
Go on, to.
And the second reason is that is exactly as TJ said, bro. He knew he wasn't ready. Like, he was not ready to step.
Of course, he wasn't ready. Come on, you think why? Look, even he knows. If I'm doing his career and I'm calculating, I am not jumping up to go face Jones. Come on, we're talking about a guy who's flipping sadistic. Huh? Why not? This is the game. You love the game, and now you're saying why is he calling him out? This is the game.
At the same time, it's like there's levels to call. Like, look, Max Holloway calls out Daniel Cormier all the time. All right, do you know what I mean? Yeah. Max Holloway calls out Daniel Cormier.
I know.
I don't blame him, bro. That friggin' Oompa Loompa, bro.
Like, but okay, so what is the reason of Adesanya going up right now to light heavy? What is his reason?
Because Bones went up to heavy, and he thinks Jan's an easy fight.
So, but what does that leave him? So he's just gonna face Jan and that's it?
No. We know what's going to happen.
Okay, so we know what's going to happen.
He would have never stepped up if Bones would have stayed. But he knows Bones is going up to heavy. So one or two outcomes happens. Either Bones goes to heavy, wins the belt, and comes back down to face Izzy, right? Yeah. Which Izzy's like hoping that Bones goes up and the weight cuts too much for him so he can beat him. Or what's his name? Bones goes up to heavyweight, wins the belt, and just stays up there and doesn't face Izzy until he's 76 years old. That's what Izzy's hoping for. Because no outcome happens where Izzy is confident of taking on Bones unless he's 76 years old. Nothing.
Izzy's confident of taking on Bones once he's had a few fights at light heavy.
Bruv, listen, I don't
think
care.
he will have a few fights. I don't think he will. I think he's I don't know, but I think
No way Dana's gonna let him win the title and just vacate and go back down or something. No way Dana's letting that happen.
I think if he goes up and if he wins, which he won't, because Blachowicz will fucking end him. All right, but if he wins, I think he's gonna go back down to middleweight, but still be the title holder at light heavyweight. The outcome of the jump, like I see, if I was the UFC, this is the way I see it happening. Yeah, because it's the most logical thing for it to happen.
Yeah,
Israel moves up, wins the belt, comes back down to middleweight. All right, defends middleweight belt. While that's happening, Jones moves up to heavyweight, wins the belt. Then comes back down to light heavyweight. Now you've got a heavyweight champion, a middleweight and light heavyweight champion, and one fight will settle all three belts.
Yeah.
You know that's it. Dana, Uncle Dana, are you listening? This is what we want.
I think that's it. I think that's the plan.
But it's not gonna happen
because Israel don't want it.
Israel
don't want it.
That is not true.
Blachowicz is gonna end all of this shit, bro. I'm telling you. But I don't care if this doesn't age well, bruv. For you guys that know me, you know I ride out for my boys to the end, bruv.
He does that.
Deontay Wilder.
Yeah, of course, you ride out to the end.
I ride it out to the end, so I don't give a fuck if this ages poorly. I don't give a fuck about the fucking comment section. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit, bruv. My boy is from my hometown in Poland, bruv, so I'm riding out with him, and hopefully this fucking hype train of Israel will end. Puffy Tit will fucking get finished. Do you know what I mean? And that's another thing, bruv. I'm curious.
Oh, here we go.
Hey, bruv, you know, man, they're all on steroids, bruv. So I'm curious. I'm curious to see if he's resolved that
Puffy
issue.
Tit. Yeah. All right. So, Truth, go on.
Go.
Just to wrap up, guys, because obviously you know we're strict now. We're on a time limit. Just to wrap up on that bit, I know if we got more time, we'll go back to it in terms of like Jones and Israel. But Truth, for you, how does Israel win the fight?
Unanimous decision.
Unanimous decision. Which
don't be hit.
Which looks like it because if you look at Jan's record, his last 4 fights that have gone the distance, he's lost. So that can tell you something. That tells you all that you need to know. But Two, for you, you say Jan's gonna light him up. What round?
Yeah, 100%, bro. Jan's gonna catch him. It's gonna be a Cinderella story. It's gonna be one of those ones where you have the guy that's being pushed by the promotion, undefeated. He's got the belt. He's moving up. He's looking to get a second belt against the guy that's got like a, not, I wouldn't say a journeyman record, but he's got bare losses.
I think his record's good. I know he's got losses, but in terms of the name he's faced, he's not faced mugs. He's faced actual competition.
Exactly. No, he's faced a lot of good competition, but his record doesn't really glow in the dark.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Not an undefeated record. And it's a Cinderella story in the making, bruv. The underdog, do you know what I mean? The guy that's being overlooked, the guy that's just won the title and immediately they're trying to take it away from him. It's got that vibe. It's definitely got that vibe. So I'm hoping, I know, in fact, Blachowicz is just going to sparkle him.
What round?
Ooh, second or third round.
Second or third
round, yeah.
Just a thing, what do you think a loss does for Adesanya's career if he was to lose? And if Jan was to win, what does that do for his career and what does he do? Because it will be a big win for Jan.
Yeah, well, it will catapult Jan into superstardom because that's what happens in this sport and in boxing and in combat sports. Yeah. When you beat the guy who's the guy, you take his position. It's just the rule of it's the natural order of things in this sport, bro.
Yeah.
For Adesanya, he'll be memed, he'll be ridiculed, but he'll come back. I mean,
I don't think so. I think if Adesanya loses, he's got the thing of where he's stepping up. He's the one doing the challenge, and he could always go back down to middle.
yeah, that's what I mean. But in the short term, he'll be ridiculed, he'll be memed simply because he done all this talking, bro. He done all this talking, he couldn't back it up. Just imagine if Conor in his prime, when he was at featherweight, yeah, and if he moved up and he fought Eddie Alvarez and lost, do you know how badly he would have been ridiculed, bro? He lost to Dustin Poirier after like 5 years of trying to be a fucking good Samaritan, and they're still memeing him. Do you know what I mean? So that's just the nature of the game, bro. But yeah, I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see. And believe it or not, Israel does not have a lot of fans, bro. He's a superstar, but in terms of the MMA, like the MMA fan base, the core fan base, they like his style, but in terms of his personality,
they hate it.
They can't. Yeah, they don't fuck with him, bro. They really don't fuck with him. His personality is really cringe. His trash talking comes off. Do you know what I mean? It's just way off. It's not. It feels forced. Do you know what I mean?
As I said, we're not looking to date the guy. All we want to know is that if we can find out if he could fight, that's about it.
But you're asking me what a loss does to him in terms of his public image. That's what will happen. In terms of what, he's always going to go back to middleweight, and he's always got the Whittaker rematch. He's got the Costa rematch there. Who's the guys coming up in middleweight right now?
They wanted what's his name? Is it Cannonier?
Yeah, but
he lost, in it.
Cannonier just lost to Whittaker. Oh, that's who it's Whittaker and Costa. They're having a fight for number one.
They're fighting next, and then the winner of that goes for the middleweight belt.
Exactly. So when Adesanya comes back down, he's got a rematch, and if it is Whittaker, who I think it will be, that's another sellout. You know, if they allow fights in Australia, do you know what I mean? They could sell that out pay-per-view.
Yeah, because New Zealand's right next to it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to be.
I'm not sure about a rematch for that one though, because I didn't like the way Whittaker was really talking afterwards. He wasn't really keen on a rematch.
But the thing is that the fight with Costa is it's basically eliminated.
I know it's eliminated, but I was just disappointed the way he was talking about the rematch. Straight away, when you hear people talk about rematch, you're like, I want to get back. He was like, you know what, if a rematch happens.
Yeah, because he lit him up.
It's not,
that's what I'm saying.
It's partly got to do with that, but if you followed Whittaker throughout his career, bro, he just doesn't entertain these questions, bro. He's always been that laid back. Like whenever someone offers him a fight, he's like, I don't know, whatever. Like he doesn't really get. He's the kind of guy that, and I know it didn't show against Adesanya for whatever reason, injuries, whatever, his mind state wasn't there. He got psyched out by all the trash talking, whatever the reason may be. But if you followed Whittaker throughout his career, bro, this guy done no talking, and every opportunity he earned was through fucking war, bruv. Like the 2 wars with Costa are enough to end a lot of fighters' careers or just change them completely. You know what I mean? But he fought Costa twice, and then I can't remember if he fought one more time before he fought Adesanya. But his middleweight reign was something that was respected a lot by the MMA fans. It might have not got as much.
You mean not Costa, Romero? You mean?
Yeah,
Romero.
Yeah. The Romero fights. And the reason that he might have not got a lot of publicity for those fights, but he definitely got a lot of respect for those fights, simply because he wasn't the guy to get on the mic and start talking. It's just that don't ask him to do that. And that's one of the things that Dana White has always criticized about Whittaker, was the fact that he just doesn't take the press part of the job seriously. Doesn't do it. So you can ask Whittaker about any of these rematches. He's always going to be he's one of these nice guys in the game, So but I'll have no doubt if they offered him the fight, he's signing it. He's taking it for sure.
Yeah, you want that belt back, especially after the way that Israel beat him. But people, see, that's the main event of UFC 259, Jan versus Israel. It's going to be a fantastic main event. We all can't wait to see what happens. To be fair, I think people are more excited about what happens after than the actual fight. But the fight is going to be amazing. But we got to move on from that and move on to the co-main event. As we said, it's a triple header. But move over to the women's division. Featherweight title fight. Amanda Nunes versus Megan Anderson. I I'm not gonna say what 2 is doing right now, but we are gonna talk about it, right? And Amanda Nunes on a mad 11-fight win streak, 7 title defenses as well. Her last 2. Do you know when her last defeat was and who it was to?
Yeah, was it Kat Zingano?
Yeah, 100% correct. 2014. So this woman's been undefeated. We're going into the 7th year of her being undefeated in the UFC. It's crazy.
Bro, I get no love for that. Like, I get no prize for that shit.
No,
like...
no. I said 100%, bro. Nah, to be fair, I didn't expect you to get it, but then I know your UFC brain works mad, bro. So I know that already. But just into like, there's not much to talk about in terms of the fight, right?
Yeah.
Bro, there's nothing to talk about, bro. Bro, are you ready? Are you ready to bleep out this next section?
No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. All I want, the only thing, all right, we're all unanimous that Nunes is going to win. We know that. We all know that. There's nothing that this, and I mean this Anderson lady. She's won her last 2 fights, but she's lost to Holly Holm, who annihilated her, and Felicia Spencer, both of whom Nunes beat up.
What kind of match is this? Why is she getting a title? Because she won 2 fights.
No, basically, there's not many people. There's no one at featherweight since Nunes beat Cyborg. There's no one really there in it. Yeah. So, but they need her to defend the belt, and Nunes chose this. But what I wanted to ask you lot in terms of, we know Amanda Nunes is going to win. She's probably going to knock her out. Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. All right, cool. But what I wanted to ask you too was on what I said, the fight streak. She's on an 11-fight win fight streak, 7 title defenses. Can she go on to beat the record for most title defenses in the UFC?
Yeah, but it doesn't mean shit, bro.
Why doesn't?
Bro, no one gives a fuck, bro. Quite frankly, it's like well done. Do you know what I mean? Moving along now, bro. Simply because, like, the women's game is sick. Like, trust me, I follow it to a T.
Yeah,
I enjoy watching it. It's nice entertainment, but in terms of, they're still evolving. You know, the women's MMA game is still evolving, and no matter what anyone says, it's just not as crisp and as polished as the men's. It's just like sometimes when I'm watching these females fight, there's either 2 things that come to my mind. It's either 1, when they're striking, it looks like they're hitting pads. Do you know what I mean? And 2 is they're either very one-dimensional. Very. So it's like, you know, I'm a jiu-jitsu girl. That's all I'm going to do is jiu-jitsu. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Even on the weekend's card, Caitlin Vieira, all she done was just try to take Kunitskaya down. And all Kunitskaya tried to do against Vieira was just fucking reverse position from back mount or guard, or try to get up off her feet and just try to do striking, which looked like she was hitting the pads. The only 2 girls at the moment that are elite level are a man named Nunes and and that bruv, and Valentina Shevchenko, who I would argue had beaten.
Yeah, because that was split decision, wasn't it?
Yeah, I would argue, you know, that you could call that fight either way, but I thought Shevchenko won that fight, bro. Arguably even both of them, but I wouldn't go that far. I'd give them 1 each. But yeah, it is what it is. So this is just like it's just, I find it not really that interesting. Like, we know what's going to happen.
It's the lack of competition.
Absolutely.
Why you would say that if she were to go on to beat the title defense record, you wouldn't. We're not saying that it's not credible, but it wouldn't be as impressive as over to the men's division, which is
absolutely. And the thing is, yeah, people talk shit about Demetrius Johnson, who held or currently holds that record.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. People always
12 in it. It's 12 in it.
Yeah. They were always talking shit about DJ, about, you know, who did he face? Or no one likes to watch the little guys, or he never moved up, or he never sold this many pay-per-views, or they talk all that shit, but at the same time, we can't say that shit about a man named Nunes because she's a woman. Do you know what I mean? Like,
don't get me wrong. I think the problem with Amanda Nunes' record now is that she's beaten everybody. She's literally beat up everybody. So I think for the 7 title defenses, bar one, the last one, I think the last one, you could say that she, and before that, you could say she faced everybody and beat them. Just literally. So now it's like, well, now the UFC are scratching around trying to find people for her to fight. So you can, in terms of from now on, you can see why it wouldn't mean as much, purely based on the fact that there isn't really anybody left. I mean, there's talk of them scrapping the featherweight division because there's no competition there. But
is that fight featherweight?
Yeah, featherweight title. Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, 145.
Yeah, for real. Because after Cyborg got knocked out, there was no one. There was no one in the
Yeah, that's it. Because that weight class was made specifically for Cyborg.
Yeah.
Because she was struggling to make. Is it bantamweight? The one.
Yeah.
Is that the one? Yeah. She was struggling to make bantamweight, so they made that for her. And then
the women's division is strawweight, bantamweight, featherweight.
Yeah. And then obviously Nunes came up. Yeah. Nunes came up and then knocked her out, which I was really gutted for because I actually like Chris Cyborg. But truth, in terms of yourself, do you concur? Do you just think, you know what? She's beaten everyone there is to beat. She is the GOAT for the female division, but the title defenses won't mean as much than it did in the men's game.
I feel bad that it doesn't, but I have to concur. Man. This person that they're feeding to her, like, just what, she won 2 fights in a row.
Yeah.
She's lost 2. She's got another. She lost to Holly. She's lost to big names. It's like.
But a lot of people might not know this, but Megan Anderson was brought in to the UFC because she is this like high tower of a girl, and you'll see on Fight Night she is a big girl, not big as in chunky, but like tall. She's got an Adesanya build. Do you know what I mean? She's tall, skinny, and she was brought into the UFC as an opponent for Cyborg initially. But then when they found out she was cack and she was losing all these fights, she couldn't really get a title shot, bro. And you know, she's done well for herself recently. She's come back and strung along a couple wins together, but it's just like Nunes is just on another level, bro. Another level. And
it's the only question for me is that what round is it just gonna be ended in the first? Is it going to be ended quickly? We might be deciding what minutes ended in.
Yeah, bro. I don't think she'll get out. I don't think she'll get out of the first round. If she does, it will be ended in the second round.
I want her to though. I want this Megan Anderson to do something because.
Yeah, bro. I want this fight to hurry up and finish so I can see fucking Jan Blachowicz knock the fuck out of Israel, bro. Bro, this fight means nothing to me, bro. Nothing to me.
Fact, to be fair, like I think, do you know what it is? And it's no disrespect to the women's MMA game, but it's just one of them fights where you're just like, you know who's gonna win. So it's just like, it's like a tick box exercise. It's like putting Mayweather in there with Broner. You know who's gonna win. You know it's gonna be an easy fight. It's just a case of, well, let it happen. And maybe the cow might jump over the moon and something might happen, but we know it's not. So
that's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm hoping for. Like, I know women, I don't know if they got the same drive as men to be the undisputed best.
There's a lot of good female fighters out there. And in fact, you could argue the best fight of last year was Weili Zhang versus my girl, Joanna.
Oh, that was mad. That was mad.
These girls
coming and looking like Mars attacks, bro.
and these girls are elite fighters. Weili Zhang is an elite fighter. Joanna's an elite fighter. Shevchenko's an elite fighter. Nunes is an elite fighter. Who else is there? There's girls coming up as well that look pretty fucking sick. There's another Chinese girl called. I'm not going to pronounce that name, bro. Yan Xiaonan, bruv. Yeah, she's sick at the moment. Who else was there? There's another guy, Irene Aldana, the Mexican chick, and then the other Mexican chick that was on the fight card a few nights ago, and she lit up that prospect. Fuck, what was her name? That's gonna annoy me, bro. That's gonna annoy me hard. Hold on.
Not gonna lie, people. Truth and I don't know the answer to that, so we'll sit here and wait.
Yeah, bro. These are guys you need to watch out for, bro. These are guys, girls.
What division?
Alexa Grasso, bro. That's the other Mexican chick. She beat up Macy Barber, who's this like 19-year-old prospect running around talking shit. Completely lit her up. So these are all future fighters that are like gonna do big bits.
Was there anyone there that you think?
Is there anyone there for Nunes? Is there anyone there for Nunes?
No, because these girls are all small, bro. They're
Strawweight.
all and flyweight. And Nunes is bantamweight. And I'm just looking at the bantamweight. I'm just looking at the bantamweight rankings, and the only person I see realistically that may have a chance is Irene Aldana, who's the Mexican chick that I spoke.
Okay.
But that's purely if Nunes decides to get into a boxing match with her. That's it. That's the only way that Irene even stands a chance. Other than that, if it's turned into a kickboxing match, if it's turned into a grappling match, if it's turned into a jiu-jitsu match, she's a fish out of water. She's just not good enough. Do you know what I mean? And Nunes is just, do you know what I mean? Nunes is just clocked the game as far as
completed it.
And what they need to do is just basically get the trilogy with Valentina. They might need to do a Manny Pacquiao and Marquez thing where they just fight for 17 fights. Just fuck it.
I still think we need the rematch with her and Cyborg as well. I think that rematch. I know Cyborg's on Bellator now, but I still think that rematch needs to happen, bro. Bro, that fight irked me, bro, because I'm a Cyborg fan, and I know, and the main reason is because I know how much Dana doesn't like Cyborg.
Yeah,
which made me like Cyborg even more. You know what I mean? Because obviously everyone knows I can't stand Dana, but I want that rematch to happen as well. But just to wrap up, what round do we say in? Truth?
One.
First round. Two first rounds.
Yeah, first round.
I'm gonna give Anderson a chance, but I'm gonna give her to the second round.
Fair enough.
I'm going to give it to the second round, and then I think it'll be over. But people, unfortunately, it's a division in which Amanda Nunes is just beating everybody already. So, and there's, as Tu said, even if there is someone coming up, they haven't got the complete game that Amanda Nunes has. So she's just going to be counting victories until she decides to retire. But we never know.
For all the football heads, bro, just to keep it short and sweet, bro, she's the Paris Saint-Germain of Ligue 1, bro. That's it.
There you go. There's your comparison right there. There's a comparison right there. But hey, we've seen.
You know what? That makes a sick title as well, bro. Paris Saint-Germain of
I might use that one still. But we've seen upsets happen. I mean, Bisping won a title, so we've seen upsets happen, right? So we shall watch this space and see what happens. But I think we don't know, really. But on to the third title fight. As we said, we're being spoiled. We're being spoiled.
Listen, this is your boy, TJ, bro. This is your boy, bro. Aljo repping JA, bro. Kingston, Jamaica, stand up.
Darling, yeah.
Yes,
we made it. TJ right now is saying we made it.
We made it. Listen. Leon Edwards, yeah. Don't worry. Leon Edwards and Aljamain, bro. They're both gonna have belts. Remember I told you.
Whoa.
Oh no. Oh no.
Whoa. Wow. So I know where TJ's loyalty is done.
I'm happy we got the bias side of TJ out, bro. I'm happy because I knew he was gonna try to stay neutral for this part, bro.
Oh man.
What's the guy that let us down?
What's the guy that let us down in the middleweight too? What is his name? The Jamaican brother at middleweight.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he let us
the one
down,
that lost against the one that faced what's his name?
What is his name, bruv? I used to use him all the time in UFC as well, bruv. UFC 2, bruv.
Oh, fuck me, bro. It's gonna come to us, bro.
Yeah, nah, I'm looking at that now, blood.
He was
Not the guy that,
yeah.
not the guy that faced Romero. And he beat Romero.
I don't know. I can't remember his name, bruv. Let me get that up now. People, bear with us.
Don't worry, we'll cut this out.
Uriah Hall, bruv.
Yeah, Uriah Hall. Yeah, he
Yeah.
lost it. He faced Romero recently. He beat Romero. Not Romero. Silva in his last fight.
Silva.
Yeah, Silva in his last fight. Yeah.
Bruv, Anderson Silva's like 82 years old, bruv. It doesn't count. It doesn't count. But yeah, people.
I think Jan beat Uriah Hall, didn't he?
Yeah. Bruv, he let the sign down, bro. But anyway, it's not about him. But yeah, Petr Jan versus Aljamain Sterling for the bantamweight title of the world. Petr Jan being 15-1, basically won all his fights in the UFC. Aljamain Sterling 19-3 on a 5-fight win streak in the UFC. Truth, we're gonna start with you first.
I'm supporting my brother, you know that, because Petr Jan beat my boy Aldo, so I can't be rolling. You can't be rolling with him. But I can't be rolling with him.
just tell us what you're expecting from that fight.
I'm impressed by Jan. I actually enjoy watching him fight. The Aldo fight is where I actually proper sat down and watched him. And even though I was backing my boy Aldo, Jan did get it done. I think it was TKO 5th round.
No,
yeah.
he finished him sooner. What, Aldo?
No, 5th round.
It's 5th round. Remember, because everyone was expecting Aldo to get run over, but he stuck
Aldo
on him.
put in work because Aldo won one round, at least one round. Aldo won.
Bro,
I thought he won at least 2.
Petr Jan pounding his fucking face.
Yeah, at the end, but but for the whole fight, trust me, it was, Aldo put in some work. So yeah, no, I'm impressed. I'm really impressed by Jan. Honestly, I don't know much about Sterling, to be honest. As you said, he's on a 4-fight. He's on a 4. You said 4 fight? 5.
5. Yeah.
So let's see what happened there. Similar build, similar size. Let's see what goes on. But I'm rolling with my boy Sterling because I can't back Jan after beating my boy Aldo.
I hear that. Tooth, just from obviously we're going to dissect the fight. In terms of just bring up for the people that wouldn't know much about Jan and Sterling, just fill people in on the fighting styles and what they're like.
So both of them are good everywhere. I would give the advantage to Aljo on the ground and the grappling, and I'd give the advantage to Jan in the striking department, but it's very marginal. It's not your classic striker versus grappler fight, but Aljo's background is more grappling based and Jan's background is more striking based. But both of them have finished fights. Jan has finished fights on the ground before, and Aljo has finished fights striking before. So it's too tough to call stylistically. They're both just these new breed of fighters that can do everything really, really good.
Yeah.
As far as Aljo goes, Aljo is more of, you could start calling him a veteran now because he's been in the UFC for a long time and he's been waiting for this opportunity for a long time. Do you know what I mean? Whereas Jan is the opposite. He came into the UFC only a few years ago and just blew past all the competition. From his first fight, you saw this guy and you were like, he's going to be a champion. You know what I mean? They just fast-tracked him to the belt, similar to Adesanya in a way.
Yeah.
As far as technically speaking, I think Jan will be the better striker. I think Jan will have his number when it comes to the striking department. But if Aljo can figure a way to get him down, we haven't really seen Jan in too much trouble off his back. We haven't really seen him have to defend submissions or how he is when someone else is controlling the fight. So that's yet to be seen. And Aljo is the guy to do that. We saw that in his last fight against Corey Sandhagen, who's my boy. And He choked the dog shit out of him.
Oh.
Corey Sandhagen, no joke, bro. Corey Sandhagen is a future, potentially even a future champion, but for sure he's getting a title shot soon.
Would you think this is Jan's hardest fight to date, or?
It's difficult to tell because Jan has had some pretty hard fights. I mean, he fought Aldo,
Faber.
he fought that midget dude that's a fucking Duracell battery, the black Filipino dude. It's gonna cut the guy that does backflips off the cage whenever he wins. Oh, that's gonna annoy me, bruv.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Again, people, truth, and I don't know, so we'll wait.
The guy that Demetrius Johnson beat twice as well. Fuck me.
There's Rivera. I know the two for Rivera, the last fights I saw. Aldo, I know he fought Faber.
It's the only one that I didn't write down the wins for, you know.
The thing is, with the Faber win is like, you know what? Faber was coming out of retirement, and you know, he was coming out of retirement, and it was just a case of, you know, let's put him up again.
There was a Douglas De Silva one. Can't remember his first name.
Yeah, the Andrade. Oh, bruv, he beat the shit. That was his. That was like
It's coming out.
That was his coming out party. The way he beat Andrade De Silva, that was his coming out party, bruv. I remember watching that fight. That Brazilian dude had this fucking batty mohawk, bruv. You might need to censor.
You know, I actually remember that, yeah, because when you mentioned the mohawk.
Bro, the mohawk, bro, and I just remember this mohawk mullet just getting fucking battered the whole. So happy. But that was Peter Yan's coming out fight. After that fight, people were like, "Oh my god, like he's something to be reckoned with."
Yeah.
He beat John Dodson. That's the black Filipino dude.
Oh, John Dodson. Yeah.
He battered him, and then he fought Jimmy Rivera. Battered him as well. Jimmy Rivera fought last weekend or this weekend, I can't remember. He fought this weekend against Pedro Munoz, and that was a sick fight. That was an amazing fight. He beat Uriah Faber, and then after that they just gave him like a sort of novelty title shot against Aldo because Cejudo had retired at that point.
Yeah.
So the division was wide open between Marlon Moraes, Aldo, but the top three dogs were really Sterling, Jan, and Corey Sandhagen. You know what I mean? So Moraes and Aldo are always going to be in that top five, but I think
those three.
The three top dogs are Sterling, Sandhagen, and Peter Yan. I think Peter Yan wins this, man. I think he's just been way too strong, way too dominant. He's just one of these Russian, but like, bro, he comes from Siberia, bro. That says it all, bro. Do you know what I mean?
But just on that, in terms of Aljamain Sterling is somebody that Jan has never come up against. His style is very unusual. He's very long. He's very rangy. So surely this should be his biggest test, purely based on the unusual style alone.
The matchup,
and the fact that Aljamain Sterling likes to do everything at length, but at the same time will try and take him down and choke him out.
100% agree with you. As far as age differences go, they're both in and around the same age. They're both in their primes. I'm just looking at some of Peter Yan's wins here. So he came into the UFC and he fought Teruto Ishihara, who's shit. Jin Su's son, never even heard of him, shit. Doug Andrade, shit. John Dodson on his way out. Jimmy Rivera when he was just like a gun-shy Jimmy Rivera and also like been exposed a few times, shit. Uriah Faber, shit. And Jose Aldo again on his way out, which is shit. All these fights, like no one's really tested him. Aldo will definitely test him, 100%. But the reason why I'm putting Peter Yan head and shoulders above everyone else is, as I've said before, you don't judge the punching bag.
Yeah.
It's the guy, like you could look at certain fighters and be like, oh my God, no one's gonna beat him. And that's what I see. That's what I see in Peter Yan. And if he does beat Sterling, then you know the guy needs all the respect in the world, because not only has he beaten everyone till now pretty much flawlessly, you know, the guy's not suffered a cut, he's not been in any trouble, he's not been knocked down, don't even think he's been taken down. Every fight.
No, it's just his takedown defense is 88%.
Well, there you go. Like, it's in the upper echelons of those stats. So he's never been troubled, bruv. And Sterling is the kind of guy that can cause him all the problems in the world. So if he beats Sterling, whether it's a close cut decision, whether he smokes him, it's just like, we need to bring Cejudo back, or we need to get Sandhagen in there, because there's no one, like, he's just too good. He's just way too.
I think I think that's the general consensus, that Petr Jan's just gonna kind of just like beat up Aljamain Sterling, but I don't think it's gonna be as straightforward as that. I think it's gonna take time for Jan to adjust to what Sterling brings to the table, and I think the problem with Petr Jan for most fighters is that he's a very step forward kind of fighter, so he likes to control the center of the ring, and he's a switch hitter as well. Yeah. So he'll come in and hit you one way and then switch and hit you the other. And I think that's what people fail to adjust to. But I think because Aljamain's so unorthodox, I think he can tap into that. And I think if he uses the kicks to the legs and the body and kind of tries to break Petr Jan down, just be as unorthodox as possible, I think there's a strong possibility that he'll cause Jan enough problems to frustrate him. And then, as we say, we don't know what Jan's like on the ground. Yeah. So it will be interesting to see if he can get him down. Then what does Petr Jan do? You know what I mean? But it's getting him down, because we know his takedown defense is up there with Izzy and all the rest of it.
For me, the biggest silver lining here was the victory that Aljo had against Sandhagen. Because Sandhagen, I said, I can't keep praising this guy enough, bro. That's what made me think like, oh my God, he can prove to be a problem for Jan. Because the way he took him down was so unorthodox, and then the way he choked him out also. And Sandhagen is known to have a good grappling base and submission base, and he's good at getting out of submissions. A lot of the fights that he fought before he fought Aljo were against like really good jiu-jitsu guys, and he was never in trouble. In fact, sometimes he would invite them in and then trap them in a submission. So the way that Aljo done that to him was like, oh, okay, you know what I mean? He's come a long way since his loss to Marlon Moraes, where he got knocked the fuck out and he was doing the dab. You know what I mean? It's something to look forward to for sure, because this is going to be one of those fights where if you don't have a horse in the race, you're going to
it's fun to watch.
Yeah, it's going to be a fight. It's going to be fight of the night, in my opinion.
100%. I hear that 100%. Just on the final, who wins and what round, Truth?
There's two things. I want Jan to win because I want Cejudo back. I think Cejudo retired a bit too early for me.
I hate him.
Yeah, but you want to see him back because he retired doing everything, and you do want to see the best
so he can lose. I only want him back so he can lose because I hate him.
I do want to see Cejudo back fighting. Fighting the best. I think he retired too early. He's got a lot left in the tank, but. I always have to go with my grapplers over the strikers. But as Tu said, I don't know how Aljo gets in easily or gets in cleanly against someone like Jan. Jan is, I've seen him fight. His striking is up there.
Yeah. So
I'm only going to go with my heart on this one, not my head. I'm just going to go with my heart. I'm going to say Sterling in 3 by submission.
It's tough, man. It's so tough. I like Aljo a lot. I like the way he's come back from his defeat against Marlon Moraes. And I like the way he's improved. He's developed a lot since that loss. He beat my boy Sandhagen, which I keep bringing up, but I'm gonna go with Jan on this, simply because the moment I saw Jan, I was like, damn, it's gonna take someone just as good
Yeah.
to beat him. You know them ones there.
Mm.
And I just don't think Aljo's that good. I mean, the grappling thing could be a problem, but Jan is a Sambo champion. Do you know what I mean? And Sambo, a lot of grappling, submissions involved in that sport as well. It's what Fedor trains. It's what Khabib was a champion as well.
Yeah.
All those Russians are all Sambo champions, bro. So they're all rounders. And unless Aljo's like grappling and submission has gone to a next level that we haven't seen,
I
don't see him subbing him. I just see Jan winning on points, potentially a finish, you know, ground and pound, something like that, or maybe even a knockout.
Fair enough. My head says that
your boy DJ. You got to ride.
my head says Jan wins in 3, but I'm riding with my boy, bro. My heart says that my guy spinning fly by head kick, bruv, to the dome, and then chokes him out in round 4, bruv. And then we got our 1 champion, and then Leon Edwards is coming, bro. He's coming.
But, they're never gonna fight. I don't know why you keep thinking that fight is done. You know them cursed fights. That's done with that, man.
Yeah, but yeah, people, listen. This is how it is. Times that unfortunately ran out for us, but we could go on for ages. But this is how good these fights are. We even get to talk about any of the undercard fights that are going on, unfortunately.
Islam Makhachev is fighting when it's talking about.
Makhachev is fighting. What's his name? Thiago Santos is fighting as well. Obviously, whoever wins that will probably be number 1 contender for the light heavyweight title. So, and as I said in the beginning, Benavidez and Dominic Cruz are on the undercard, so it's going to be a fantastic UFC.
Bruv, that is TJ's boy, bro. Dominic.
But it's going to be a fantastic UFC, and we can't wait for it. Obviously, you know 100% you're going to get a review show because we're going to dissect everything. You've heard the truth speak. You've heard our MMA connoisseur, our Nate Diaz of Dentistry, to speak. You've heard their predictions. I forgot to predict Jan versus Israel. I'm saying that Israel wins on points. Goes back down to middleweight, defends. Bones wins in the heavyweight. Bones comes down to light heavyweight. Israel runs away because he doesn't want to fight Bones. And then there you go. And then once Bones retires, then he passes on the torch to Israel, and Israel can continue because he don't want that smoke with the GOAT. But that is it from us, people. I want to say thank you very much to my guys, The Truth and Tooth. It's been a pleasure, gentlemen.
Yeah, man, a pleasure. Always a pleasure, my friend.
And indeed. And before we go, people, as we usually say, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe on the channel. Smash that like button, smash that subscription button. And in the comments, let us know who you got winning. Have you got Jan or Israel? Have you got Amanda Nunes? Is there going to be an upset? And who have you got, Petr Jan, or have you got Aljamain Sterling? Let us know what you think. And also let us know, is Israel really afraid of Bones? Let us know in the comments. We want to hear from you. Upcoming, you know, as usual, we got the weekly show, the review/preview show. We've got NBA coming up as well. We're going to be talking about mid-season. We're going to be talking about the All-Star. And then as of next week, after UFC 259, we're going to have the review. So plenty more content coming out, people. But that is it from us. Make sure you stay safe. Make sure you stay at home because we don't want anything getting pushed back because certain men need to make money. And certain people just want to be free. But until then, we shall see you very, very soon. Peace.